whatever it is to you, yeah, I hope it's good. I am here today to talk to you about some shit, because we all know that a bunch of shit is going on, and people are upset, and, you know, I'm just a fucking moron sitting under a highway bridge in New Orleans. So I'm not a sociologist. I'm not a political scientist. Is that what they're even called? Political science? Yeah, I guess that's, yeah. I'm not a fucking philosopher or anything like that. But I am a person with unique perspective and experiences. So I just wanted to, share that with you and talk to you folks a little bit today. But before I get into it, I'm gonna make myself some shitty coffee. Got some Cafe Bustelo. It's definitely not my favorite, but it's what's available. It's what's around. So, I'll take what I can get. For those of you who don't know, who haven't been following along, you should hit the like, hit the button, the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button, and follow along on these weird adventures. Yeah, so for those of you who haven't been following along, I have been doing some community aid, mutual aid here in New Orleans, and so that's been really good, working with people that live here and can use the resources. I'm fucking broke as fuck, but we all do what we can. So if you'd like to donate to further the cause, there is I think I did the descriptions today. There's a link in the description for PayPal and Venmo, and you can join my Patreon, get exclusive content. I will be releasing some after this video. And yeah, welcome everybody. Aaron says, I'm a sociology major and you're out there with all the other humans doing field work. For sure. Elizabeth Jarima says, no link. Fuck, I forgot to do the fucking links again. Oh, god damn it. Fuck. Well, I can't really do anything about it while I'm streaming, so I guess I'm just gonna have to add it afterward. But if any of my mods want to share my links, that would be cool. Because, yeah, I'm not doing great with, I'm getting by, but, yeah, I still don't have my car back, and even if I did, I wouldn't be able to afford gas for it anyway. Yeah. So, I guess there's really no easy way to, just broach the topic, but, we all know what's going on here. It's a lot of people are really upset about the recent repealing of the Roe versus Wade abortion protection, and the rights of people with uteruses like myself that are at risk here, especially those in poverty. There's a lot to unpack with all of that. And even before all this, I spent a lot of time thinking about it, being an unwanted pregnancy myself. And I was actually a product of right-wing evangelical dogma. If it wasn't for them, then I would not have been born. I was born to a young unmarried couple, and at the behest of my biological grandma, they were not allowed to abort me, which back then I wasn't me, I was a clump of cells, right? So it's like, you might be rushing to say, oh, but Cornelius, we're so glad you're here. We enjoy your show and your perspectives and stuff like that. But if I didn't exist, you wouldn't miss me because I wouldn't exist. Like, we could all imagine a really fucking awesome guy named Fred Fred Stankton, that would have been born if he wasn't aborted, but he was, and he cured cancer, and he also played guitar really, really well, and wrote some real bangers that changed the world, right? Fred Stankton never was born, and we're so sad because of it. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense, right? Because Fred Stankton doesn't exist. He was never born. Could he have been born? Yeah, sure, yes. Do you remember anything from before you were born? No, because you didn't exist then. And maybe you want to come at me with like the biblical shit, like, oh, but the Bible says that each unborn child, God has a plan for them, and blah, blah, blah. But actually, the Bible doesn't say that. In fact, the Bible says in multiple ways that life begins at first breath, when you first breathe air. I'm not a biblical scholar, but I have read the Bible cover to cover 3 times, and I grew up steeped in evangelical doctrine. So I'm very familiar with it. Also, if you want to come at me from the religious perspective, I have a couple of retorts. So the same people saying that if you don't want to get pregnant, then don't have sex, are people that follow a religion that believes that a woman got pregnant without having sex. So that's pretty silly. And also, God sacrificed his only son. Like, God had a very late term abortion, like postnatal abortion. God was like, I'm gonna just sacrifice my 30-year-old son. God doesn't have a problem with killing babies. He kills so many babies in the Bible. Like, have you read the Bible? Are you reading the same fucking Bible as me? Like, God orders a king to cut a baby in half to solve a dispute between 2 women about which one the baby belongs to. And that's like all kosher. Yeah, and he kills every firstborn son in Egypt. Like, I mean, come on, don't get at me with that Bible shit, because we can go back and forth on that all day long. So it's laughable. It really is. And these people aren't pro-life. I'll tell you firsthand, they're not pro-life. I was put up for adoption as a baby, and I was adopted into another evangelical family. And I was kicked out of the house, like, a lot. If you've seen some of my other past live streams talking about where I come from and a little bit more about me, then you might remember that I spent a lot of time on the streets, and that I can't get medical coverage for my prosthetic right now. And the medical system has failed me. The school system has failed me. I've been in jail because the legal system has failed me. I have nothing on record because I did nothing wrong at any point. But yeah, I have been incarcerated. I've been put into different facilities, and there's other people like me too, kids in foster care that will never get care. And these people preaching about being pro-life, like, they don't actually give a fuck. They just want to control people's bodies, and that's fucking bullshit. And I know this because after people are born, it's like, fucking get a job, you goddamn leech, right? They don't care. They would be totally fine if I died in the street, which, it could happen. There's a lot of us out there that are disadvantaged or, slip through the cracks of the system. And it kind of also comes down to a philosophical idea that these people are not addressing. It's like they're uncomfortable with the idea of their own mortality. They're uncomfortable with addressing certain issues. But before I dig into that a little bit, because it's a philosophical issue, it's a doctrinal issue, it's an issue of control, but also it's an agenda by the ruling class. But before I get into it, like I said, I'm gonna just check in with chat, see who we got. I'm noticing a lot of folks using gendered language in this, and I'm gonna just remind you that you're on my channel. I'm Cornelius Vango. I'm a non-binary, trans-masculine, AFAB person, and if you don't know what the fuck any of that means that I do not identify as a woman, and I'm trans-masculine, which means I'm a masculine entity. I vibe more like, if we're splitting off into groups of men versus women, I'm gonna go on the men's side because that fits me a little bit better. And when you use language like that, that discludes trans people that are born AFAB, which is assigned female at birth, which means that a doctor looks at your genitals and decides, even if they're ambiguous, because some people are born intersex, or they'll look at your genitals and be like, okay, that's a girl, or oh, that's a boy, which we found out through science that that's not always accurate. And in fact, that's a little archaic. So when you say, like, you know, all the girls out there, all the women, like, that leaves out a group, a large margin of individuals who are also suffering from this and who are left out of the conversation time and time and time again. It's really invalidating. It's hard enough to be a trans person and to have to deal with that, because before the legislation for abortion came along, that was not the first attack on our human rights. It was preceded by an attack on trans rights. And they're not going to stop. They're going to go for, you know, gay marriage and other things. It's a slippery slope. So they've pushed through, paved the way to take away more people's rights, dehumanize us, and put us back into some fucking weird ass theocracy, which means like a system of government based on religion, where according to their interpretation of their religion, they're going to tell all of us what we are and what we can do with our bodies. And there have already been people with uteruses who have died because of this legislation. And yeah, if you're going to start hollering about, like, what about the children? What about the babies? Like, fuck off. Before Roe versus Wade, people still couldn't afford having kids. There's horror stories of older folks who just are fertile and they get raped, or they have a husband that they are bound by duty because of their religion to roll over and let them, you know, have their way with them because society made them feel that they had to do that. And they would inevitably get pregnant even after begging not to have that happen to them, and have to go in secret somewhere else, somewhere unsafe, to, you know, an unlicensed doctor, get a back alley abortion, because, like, some people will die if they get pregnant and cannot give birth. And if they do, or some people can't afford it, and they would rather risk their life getting a back alley abortion, or like doing something really fucked up like having a baby and then drowning it. Like, that's what people would do before this. They would have to bring the baby to term in secret and then go throw it in a fucking river. Like, that's not better. People are still going to have to do that sort of thing. They still are going to have abortions. It's just not going to be safe anymore. Uncle Sam says, dude, I never catch you live. Greetings from Germany. Hell yeah. Christina says, quality of life is more valuable than quantity of children. Slipping into poverty and problems like you mentioned. Right. G says there's definitely agenda. TPW, it's all about keeping people undereducated, broke, and a slave to the capitalist system. So many years of this make it hard to be undone. Right, there's got to be a fucking breaking point. People are at a fucking breaking point. Things aren't gonna be going good for this country. It hasn't been. It's falling apart. But like, the riots are gonna start again. People, like, you're gonna push people too fucking hard, and they're gonna snap eventually. Yeah. Napalm Tomahawk says, how did science prove this? How did science prove what? Go read a fucking textbook. Kathy says, I marched with the people in the 60s. Fuck yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Wandering Mia says, that's a great point, and the issue to bring up, it's not just a women's right issue. No, it's not. It's a human rights issue. It's a healthcare issue. And it affects men too, like cis men. It affects us all. Napalm Tomahawk says, what if they are LGBT babies? What are you fucking talking about? I have no idea what you're fucking talking about, dude. Medical reasons for abortion do exist. Okay, yeah, they do. There's tons of medical reasons that people can't have babies. Like I actually just learned about this, but ectopic pregnancy, it means that the baby is like being formed outside of the uterus, and if it goes along too far, both of the fetus and the parent will die. And I already read an article the first day that they overturned Roe versus Wade. There was already a person in the hospital with an ectopic pregnancy, and they had to talk to a bunch of lawyers. This person almost died before she could get help because she got bungled up in the legal system. So if you claim to love freedom and you're against abortion, then go fuck yourself. You're a fucking idiot. Sean Wells says, abortion should be legal in the case of rape or incest, or if the mother's life is in danger, not as a form of birth control. Just my opinion. No shit, Sherlock. But these fucking same people that outlawed abortion are the same people that took away our ability to get contraception and access to birth control. So, yeah, no fucking shit, dude. No shit. But you take away people's fucking right to get birth control, then they're gonna get knocked up. And if they get knocked up and they don't want it, then they're gonna get an abortion. And if you tell them that they can't get an abortion, they're gonna go fucking stick coat hangers up their cunts and possibly die and make it so that they can't ever have babies again or whatever, or they're gonna carry that baby to term and throw it in the fucking river. That's just the reality of the situation. If you don't like it, then don't make laws preventing people from getting proper fucking health care. Stupid fuck. Satan, come here. Satan, come here. Don't bark at people. Come on. That is so swag. Orange Tabby is being put on timeout for being a dipshit. Alrighty. Oh man, it's too hot. I can't fucking click on shit. Hey, one of my mods want to put Orange Tabby on timeout. Napalm says it hasn't been made illegal. It should have been made law by all the politicians that robbed you the past 50 years. Okay. Well, sorry that I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Wandering Mia says, those who don't remember the past are doomed to repeat it. Abortions will still happen and people will still die. This law solves nothing. Sean Wells, I literally just went on a fucking tangent about how I'm I'm trans-masculine, so don't fucking call me ma'am, or you will be banned from my chat. I'm in a fucking mood right now. I'm fucking pissed off. And I have absolutely no space or energy for any of your bullshit. You want to fucking argue with me about it? Let's fucking go. Jam Dan Production says healthcare and education for all would reduce abortions more than banning them. Hell yeah, it would. That's why we need funding for education, and that's why we need funding for outfits like Planned Parenthood say. And I don't know why these people that are so anti-abortion would try and cut that funding and try and cut our access to that. Because if you don't want people to get abortions, then let them get fucking birth control. Let them get educated about how to keep themselves from getting pregnant in the first place. And for people that are saying things like, if you don't want to get knocked up, then keep your legs closed. If you don't want a baby, then don't have sex. So you think that having sex is a class privilege? You think that people shouldn't be able to fuck if they can't afford to raise a child? That's like, I thought you liked freedom, man. What the fuck? What are you talking about? Aaron says, who the fuck even uses abortion as birth control? Literally, yeah. What are we fucking talking about here? Nobody wants to have an abortion. Literally, nobody wants to have an abortion. Who here thinks, oh yeah, it would be really fucking cool if I got knocked up and then had to go to a fucking place where they're gonna fucking put some shit in me and like, it's an invasive procedure. I mean, there's the pills now, which is great. But like later term abortions, it's fucking invasive. And as a person, okay, if you're gonna, I'm gonna catch up with comments here before I go on this fucking rant. TPW says that's a very limited point of view, or to Sean Wells, that's a very limited point of view. Abortion prevents child abuse in the long run. Unwanted children are often severely abused. Yeah, unwanted children, I mean, who here was not a planned birth, and who wasn't supposed to be conceived feels like it's a problem for people. Like your parents have made fucking comments about it, or maybe that you kind of slipped through the cracks of society because there's no infrastructure for you. Wandering Mia says, on the medically needed option, I'm fully capable of making my own responsible choices. I don't need the government deciding what I should or shouldn't do. Right. I thought right-wing folks were anti-big government. What the fuck is this? You're fucking anti-big government up until you want to push your fucking religion on other people and hurt people with it. Because you, like, it's fucking amazing to me. Like, none of you are fucking biologists. You have no idea what you're fucking doing. And all of a sudden, because you have a fucking religious agenda to push, you're a fucking expert now? Fuck off. Christine says Courtney was responding to me. Oh, I see. Oh, sorry about that then. Well, the timeout, it's a 5-minute timeout. You're all right. Sorry, guy. My bad. Wasatch Traveler says need links at Captain Grimm. Yeah, sorry. I guess I forgot to do the PayPal links again. I'll be better about that. I'll add them after I'm done streaming. But for now, if you could, you can also just type in paypal.me/CorneliusVango if you feel like doing it manually. I know it's a lot of exercise to do that nowadays when you can just click on a link. But yeah. TPW says, Corn, I love your viewpoint. Well, you know what? I don't love that I have to express this viewpoint. Like, I was adopted. I was an unwanted pregnancy, and because of their religion, they weren't allowed to abort me, even though my parents were like fucking 15 years old. I was put briefly into foster care and then adopted into another evangelical family. And if you're fucking out there hollering about like, oh, just adopt, there's so many, we'll make them have babies and then we'll adopt them. Isn't that kind of like isn't that human trafficking? Like, you're gonna make poor people have babies that they don't want, take them away from them, and give them to somebody else? That's kind of fucking weird, isn't it? And not to mention that there's like, I want to say 460,000. That number, I don't know, that's I'm just recalling it off the top of my head. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like in the hundreds of thousands of unadopted foster kids, and only a small percentage of them ever get adopted before they turn 18. And then they're put out into the world, family experience, no support system, no like social experience. All that they know is fucking going from place to place with oftentimes really unfriendly people that don't give a fuck about them, that are just using them to get a check from the government and sometimes labor as well. And these kids have nothing but what they can fit in a fucking trash bag, and they're just shuffled around. Also, like, why the fuck are people so obsessed with what other people are doing with their bodies? In the Bible, it says, like, and I know most of us don't give a fuck about what's in the Bible, but for the people that do are the ones that are hollering about this shit. But in the Bible, it says that God will judge us in the end, right? So it's not up to us to decide what other people do. You can't prevent people from sinning. You can't make them follow your religion. That's not how it works. And it says so in the Bible. And, Jesus was anti-government too. He did a lot of political dissent and made a lot of statements against the government that was there. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's, right? And that was talking about taxes. Like, Jesus was anti-capitalist as fuck, and he served God above the government. Hey, Napalm Tomahawk, you're a fucking dummy, and you just lost privileges to make comments on my channel. Guess what? This ain't a theocracy or a democracy. This is a fucking dictatorship. Welcome to my channel, bitch. And now goodbye. Love All Life says this is not about religion, it is about control. Right. They think that they can fucking make people follow their own moral code, and it's gonna kill people. And you know what? These people are going to answer to God. They're gonna have to answer to their God for being a fucking bigot and hurting people because of their own discomfort with a reality, a fact of life. H7O Polo says, don't agonize, organize. That's correct, yeah. It's important for people to, especially people with like similar interests, to organize. They don't want us to organize. They don't want us to mobilize. They don't want us to communicate between each other because that threatens their system. And their system is one of oppression. And it's getting worse and worse. The veil, it's fallen. If you can't see that the government does not have our best interests in mind, then you haven't been paying fucking attention. I'm taking a look at the chat. Okay, you guys are like talking about eating babies. I don't know what the fuck you're on about. If you're doing like the fucking shadow government Illuminati shit, like shut the fuck up. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's weird. Maybe people, I'm sure people somewhere are eating babies, but I'm not gonna fucking get into the whole reptilian government fucking conspiracy theorist bullshit, because that's getting into QAnon territory, you know what I'm saying? Last county I lived in, I put up billboards. Limited Time says, last county I lived in had put up billboards begging for more foster parents. They were so overwhelmed with children. Right. And then what happens to these kids? They end up incarcerated, a lot of them, or in like drug treatment systems and facilities. They end up in, a lot of them in halfway houses, a lot of them dead of overdoses in the streets. There's more homeless people in major cities than there has ever been. And you know what? They don't want them there. I've personally seen fucking cops spraying people with fucking hoses to move them out of places, and they have literally nowhere else to go. There's no programs for them to be in that actually help rehabilitate people to be able to hold steady jobs and have a home. There's a housing crisis. We don't even have any fucking baby formula. Like, what the fuck is going on? Jesus was against organized religion too, all that stuff, conformist, artificial culture, propaganda. Well, he definitely was against politics in the church. You remember the one story where Jesus got fucking pissed off is when they were selling, they had like a market in the synagogue, like courtyard basically, and you know they were doing commerce at the church, and he got so fucking mad that he went around flipping tables and shit. That's like one story that stuck out to me as a kid growing up, where like Jesus got fucking right pissed. And, you know, for good reason. Even Jesus believed in separation of church and state. Now, I know I'm going to lose a lot of followers over this live stream and, you know, trigger a lot of you little fucking snowflakes about stuff that, you know, I noticed that the people that are the most triggered about topics like this are people that don't have uteruses. Cis men, generally. White cis men, because they've been trained to protect their privilege in our society. They're the loudest with opinions about what people should do with their bodies, which is fucking baffling to me, because they're never gonna have to know what it's like to be pregnant or to have to make that decision. They get to just cut and run if they want to. So, you know, fuck you. Bibliophile says, not a baby, a clump of cells. Right, like, we can argue all day long until the fucking cows come home, or whatever the fuck you want to say about it, about when life begins. Does life begin at conception? No, it fucking doesn't. Me personally, I think that consciousness starts when, like, the prefrontal cortex is formed, but it's like kind of a shadow consciousness. But that's more philosophical. That's more conjecture. I don't actually know. And like, what is life? What do we define that as? Consciousness. But like, what? How much? But if you're gonna go by the Bible says, like I said in the beginning, in multiple different ways, that according to God, life begins when a human breathes their first breath. So when they're born. And yeah, God's all about killing babies. If you actually like read the Bible, there's tons of baby killing. And like even like child death. Like God kills Job's entire family because he gets in a balls match with the devil. He literally kills Job's entire family, his wives and children, because I think Job had like multiple wives and like a fuck ton of kids, and you know, all of his livestock and shit. Like, come on now. Christine S. says, then people complain about welfare. Right, like I was saying earlier, like people are all about protecting what they call a baby before they're born while they're attached to another person's body. And then when they come out, it's like, all right, you little shit, get a job, stop leeching off the system. Like, okay, you know, these kids don't come out the box with a briefcase ready to fucking work. Like, fuck. The ones who are lost to the state are given to pedophile rings. Not untrue, it does happen. Serious housing crisis, yes. Raven in a van, I am, says Jesus flipped over a table and everything went flying. Man, he was serious. He flipped over like multiple tables. He caused a fucking ruckus about that shit. Endless Winter says half the people for abortion don't even know what else we're losing because of Roe v. Wade being overturned. It's not just abortion rights, it's other rights too, right? And this legislation paves the way to strip us of our bodily autonomy even further. Not just people with uteruses, but everybody else. Captain Grimm says, if you're loving Cornelius Vango's channel, and I know you are, perhaps you'd like to go even further down into the cornhole and join the cool kids in the Discord. True. Hit that link. I know I'm behind in the chat. There's a lot of people having a lot of conversations here, and I love it, and I love that my mods are on top of shithead comments. If people are making ignorant comments, just, you know, put them on timeout and let them try again in a little bit. But if they're being straight up hateful, yeah, go ahead and ban them. Like, I'm not here on YouTube for fucking clout. I don't give a fuck if I ever reach 1 million subscribers. It's fine. I'm not here to cater to your little fucking soft boy needs. And I don't give a shit how triggered you are by my opinion. This is my channel. I'm Cornelius Van Gogh. And I'm going to say what I want. So, yeah. Hit the like and subscribe button, and be sure to donate to my PayPal and or Venmo and or join the Patreon, because yeah, I'm out here actually fucking help people who are born and who are alive and who do have a heartbeat. And I think it's important because there's a lot of folks out here, especially in New Orleans, that are living in poverty. You know, they have kids even, like when we were doing distribution the other day, there was a lot of folks that came in and got a lot of food and like baby food and diapers and stuff like that. Like, we have actual babies that are currently breathing that we should be giving a shit about. And that's what I'm doing. I'm putting my fucking money where my mouth is. That's why I'm always fucking broke. So yeah, there's that. Let's see if anybody threw into the PayPal account, and I'm gonna shout you out in a second here. Hopefully without killing my stream. All right, Elizabeth Jarima, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And Riley Martin kicked it down earlier this morning and said, forgot to donate last stream. Thank you so much. I super appreciate it. You guys really keep me going. I'm gonna just scroll down. If I missed your comment, I'm so sorry, but I'm like way behind on comments because there's a lot of them. You guys are having some good opinions, good discourse, and we can continue this in the Discord. We've been having conversations about this. And And, you know, nobody likes to have these conversations, but also nobody likes that people that are currently breathing are out there having their lives threatened because they can't have access to proper health care and proper medical procedures that they should be able to get. Like, you can't call yourself pro-life and sit back when a person dies because their pregnancy is going to kill them. And it's going to happen more. On Our Way says government should never have more rights over the human body than the human's own self individually. Yeah, right. Like, I mean, when it comes down to us, each of us only has ourself. So that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of the most important thing for me. I'm all about looking out for number one. I'm not trying to tell other people what to do with their bodies. Do I have qualms and disagreements with the way that other people treat their bodies or treat other people? Fuck yeah, I do. Am I gonna go out and like write legislation that prevent people from doing things that they need to do to themselves because they feel that they need to? Like, no, I'm not going to, because it's none of my goddamn business. As long as they're not like, well, it is my business when you go out there and impede people from getting the care that they need and they're getting hurt. Like, then your choices are impacting other people. So, you know, you're just a fucking hypocrite at that point. Endless Winter says they're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. Right, they're pro-birth, they're pro-control, they're pro-oppression, they're pro-theocracy, they're pro, I don't know, whatever. All the things that suck. And, you know, pro-life is a misnomer because they're not actually pro-life. They don't give a fuck about you once you're breathing. Once you are actually living, then you can fuck right off and die in a ditch for all they fucking care. Pro-Doomer says healthcare in the US is a mess and getting worse, it seems to me. Fuck yeah, it is. I haven't been to a doctor in fucking years because the medical system is fucking broken. I'm living in poverty, and if I go to the doctor and I ask them to like check something that has been bothering me, most of the time it ain't gonna happen. It's like pulling fucking teeth. Like, who has the time to go and appeal in an office a decision that some fucking bureaucrat made to save money because they didn't want to cover your medication or your treatment or, you know, your tests? That happens all the time. I have a friend right now who can't, they've had a couple of really bad injuries in the last couple of years and they're in so much pain and all every day in pain, and they don't have the time, energy, or money to go in day after day and fight for themselves. And it's sad to watch. Aaron says, kind of back. I'm got about 15 more minutes to rant here, but like I said, yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't add the links in the description. And after my live stream, I'm going to be writing up a little journal entry for my Patreon and adding some pictures that I haven't released anywhere else. So if you're interested in that, go right ahead. On Our Way says, if you don't like tattoos, don't get one. If you don't like abortion, don't get one. Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, and if a fucking fetus is a person, then why can't we write them off on our taxes and what? Everything else about the law suggests that they don't see a fetus as a person until it's born, except for that one aspect. Kathy Southwestern says, when I was 26, I was with a 45-year-old, and he told me he was sterile. Like an idiot, I believed him. 6 months later, and I had just broken up with him, I discovered I was pregnant. Holy fuck. That's fucked up. And I'm gonna just assume that guy didn't have any consequences for that shit. That's fucking disgusting. Kathy says, no way in hell was I having his baby. Fuck yeah, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. That guy fucking lied to you and probably got off scot-free about it. I'm gonna drink some coffee. Coffee and anarchy. Okay, so what do we do going forward? What? Obviously, we're all on the same page here. This fucking sucks. And if you're not on the same page, I don't know what to fucking tell you. You're just trying to fucking keep the wool over your eyes at this point, and you're probably a piece of shit, possibly a rapist. Yeah, so go fuck yourself if you're not on board with this understanding that this is unfair, it's unjust. It doesn't even work with your own dogma. It doesn't. You're just a fucking jerk and an oppressor, and society will outgrow you and will leave you behind. For the rest of us, what do? Do we follow the liberal agenda? No, because fuck the liberal agenda. What has it fucking done for us? What have Democratic politicians fucking done for us? Jack shit. They've done jack fucking shit. And we all know that Republicans are the ones instigating this shit. Democrats are fucking allowing it and pretending to be on our side. It's a fucking puppet show. None of it makes any difference. So what do? We need to organize. That's why today's episode is called Anarchy, Coffee and Anarchy, because I've got some fucking coffee right here from the distro. Free reclaimed coffee. I don't know what the means of getting Cafe Bustelo are, but I'm sure these particular ones were pulled out of a dumpster and now they're being given to poor people. What we need to do is fucking organize amongst each other, stop backbiting, stop shitting all over each other, and like, maybe you might be a communist and I'm an anarchist, but we have the same fucking opinion that healthcare rights and reproductive rights should be protected. So we can set aside our other differences and just shut the fuck up about them and work on this first. And, you know, whatever your walk of life is, it doesn't matter. We are the working class. We are the people, the proletariat, as it were, if you want to use big fancy fucking, you know, schooly words or whatever. We are the people. And if we're so busy backbiting and arguing with each other about details, then we're never going to get shit done. We're just going to keep ourselves down. Classic technique from the ruling class, divide and conquer, right? Yeah, there's a lot of good comments here, guys. Very insightful, very interesting. I really welcome all your stories, and I'm thankful that you're all sharing your perspective. I do hope that you join the Discord and continue the conversation there. Or, of course, you can address your concerns or have conversations in the comments section after this video is done streaming. I think that it's important that we have a space for these kinds of conversations, even if they're uncomfortable, even if it feels yucky and gross. And I know we all have a whole lot of shit going on right now. And, you know, there's a lot of other things to be worried about. But I do think that it's important for us to communicate and organize. I mean, in my kind of social philosophy, I think that eventually, if we can do that, we can socially evolve past this archaic subjugative government and just live in our own smaller societies within larger societies, cooperatives, local organizations. We don't need the government to tell us what to do. We never did. We don't need cops to enforce their shitty laws that don't help us. We never did. Cops are actually a pretty recent establishment. I want to say late 1800s. Started with the constabulary in, I want to say, Ireland. And that was formed specifically to oppress the Irish by the British. The British wanted to control them, so they created police. And that's why police exists. To subjugate us, to oppress us as citizens of a state we didn't fucking ask for. All right, let's take a look and see. We got another kick down from Christina Honeycutt. Thank you so much. Ooh, I know you've donated a lot through the past, and I do appreciate it. I recognize your name from past kickdowns. Aaron says, I'm all for mutual aid like Cornelius is doing. Fuck yeah, I know you are. There's a lot of really stand-up folks in my follower base and kind of community that are just real fucking straight up good folks that give a fuck. And, you know, I don't want to, like, try and stray out of my lane here because, like I said, I'm just a fucking person. I'm an undereducated, impoverished, marginalized, handicapped person. I only have access to so much resources and knowledge. So take my opinion with a grain of salt. But, you know, I have a valid perspective, as I'm sure a lot of you do too. And you don't need a college education to know shit about shit. Especially in this day and age when it's not even a viable option for most people. Maya Co-Movies says, majority of Dutch people can't sleep without their medication. Free healthcare seems very mentally unhealthy for the most. Shut the fuck up, dude. You ain't a doctor. You don't know what kind of fucking medication people need. Go fuck yourself. Something tells me you're not a sociologist or a political scientist. Probably because you made an ignorant fucking statement. Christina says, are they worried that our population is declining and want more babies for the economy? Just kicking people into the baby-making enslavement. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they even think that far about it. The only people that this doesn't affect is the ruling class, the wealthiest small percentage of humans. So more and more every day, like, I see the decisions made by the government in the interest of the wealthiest people in the world. Like, they don't have to care that the earth is being polluted and that everything's falling apart because they have enough money to fucking buy out of it. They can just throw money at anything. So it's a theocracy, it's an oligarchy. It serves the wealthiest people. That's why all of the people who are hollering about this the loudest are white, wealthy Christian conservatives. And most of them are actually just middle class too, or like upper middle class. And they've been fooled and they've got Stockholm syndrome about this, and they think that some kind of fucking false hope of entrepreneurship that maybe someday they'll be in the ruling class or that they have anything in common with these fucking monsters. Tony. H70 Polo says, develop a sustainable system alternative to capitalist U.S. Absolutely. But the thing is, they're not going to do it for us. The system has always not been for us. It's always been like, you know, it's just feudalism. It's these lords and kings telling peasants what to do and using them as fucking livestock. We're fucking livestock to them. Elizabeth Jarima says, move to states that protect the rights under Roe v. Wade if possible. That's not a good long-term solution. That's not viable. You can't just tell everybody to move somewhere else. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Now more than ever, it's important to make connections with other people and create your own small local systems. We don't need the fucking legal system to tell us what to do anymore, and never did. Power to the people. We can work together and come up with good solutions if we just stop feeding into their system and start working together. Christina says, Dems asking for money but not fighting and seemingly playing into the Republicans' hands. Maybe the corporations want more babies so they can keep their business profitable. Yeah, right. Like, literally, what? Their biggest victory, I think, is convincing us citizens that one of the parties has us in their interest. Neither of them does. They're both puppets of the ruling class. And I'm not going to say like, oh, there's good people on both sides, because fuck them. Fuck them. That's why I'm a fucking anarchist. I don't think that this shit should exist. So we all need to get a little bit more comfortable with crime, I guess. Crime. And that kind of goes with some of the shit that I was saying on one of my Slab City live streams. Crime in Slab City. Like, what is crime? As defined by whom? Rushan says, great live stream. Thanks. I'm really glad that you think so. I'm actually surprised that I was able to fill up a full hour on this rant. Yeah. Aaron says, glad I got to at least hear this stream. Yeah, I'm glad you could join too. Sorry about the background noise. And sorry to that one gentleman that I put on timeout because I thought that they were talking to me about whatever. Anyway, yeah, nothing personal, but, you know. On Our Way says, reminds me of the meme, 2 stations set up, everyone is lined up for the comfy lies and no one is lined up for the uncomfy truths. Yeah, it's a succinct meme. Uncle Sam says, as long as we are quoting a document from 1776 as the way we should live, we are kind of screwed. Yeah, because I mean, our forefathers owned fucking slaves, and like while they were writing this legislation, some of them literally had teeth in their mouths that were pulled from the mouths of their slaves. Like, this country was built upon systems of oppression. Like, there's no idealistic before time when everything was all good and gravy. Like, we're living on stolen land that was stolen from indigenous people that were here first, and it was built on the backs of slaves that we dragged from their homes in another country over to here and raped them. And that's where a lot of people came from, the raping and pillaging of marginalized people. And here we are again. All right, we're getting close to about an hour. I've been fucking fired up for the entire time. Cheers to all you. And I'm not fucking off quite yet. I really hope that that the rest of your day is good. Maybe that this rant was a little bit cathartic. that we could all connect on this and kind of rage about it for a minute. But I also really hope that you guys aren't carrying all of this anger with you all day long, because it's unhealthy. I hope that you can take a moment and step back and just like focus on the here and now. There are people suffering in this world. There are people dying in this world. There are injustices in this world. And it's really easy for us to get hung up on that shit. But working yourself up into a frenzy, getting stressed out, having panic attacks, having suicidal ideations because of the injustice of this world is not gonna help you. It's not gonna help anybody else. I hope that today you can take a minute to just breathe and exist, do some gardening, draw a picture, read a book, talk to a friend, and just get some space, get your head right, work on yourself, and prepare yourself, because we're in it for the long game. It's easy to want to go out and do something drastic right now. It really is. But if we're going to do something, if we're going to be effective as a community, as a society, we need to make those connections with each other, and we need to just build upon those connections and come up with plans and our own systems to help ease ourselves during this time of struggle. And if you're sitting out there beating yourself up about shit, you're not going to be as effective when it comes time to take action. So I need you all to keep that in mind, and I want you to take care of yourselves. And I know I'm really fired up right now, but after this stream is done, I'm gonna go. In fact, right now I'm gonna drink some water. I want you all to drink some fucking water and just take a breath. All right. That's better already. If you find yourself getting all worked up today, go and get yourself a nice glass of water and just take a minute, okay? Don't get all worked up into a tizzy. And if you do something productive with it. Don't just pace around your apartment or whatever you got. Sit down and, I don't know, write a fucking essay or something. Reach out to other people in your community, or talk to people if they have space for it. Don't ever just like trauma dump on other people. You need to make sure that if you're going to have a conversation, especially a hard conversation, that people know what's coming. Don't just spring shit on people. Approach them respectfully, because we're all fucking going through it right now. So yeah, I just want to make sure that all of you are taking care of yourselves. And anyway, Martha says, Corn, have a good day too. Oh, fuck yeah, I will. Especially with those kickdowns from you guys. I'm going to see if there's any more kickdowns. I'm going to buy myself some fucking food. Got something from Christine Soares. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And like I said, anything helps. I'm not wealthy. I literally probably have about $100 to my name, and I'm using every bit of that to put into spaces that are benefiting people in this community, which is impoverished and largely Black folks and Hispanic folks, and just beautiful, kind people that are at a disadvantage in this country. And the rest of my money is going to feeding my face. I know I had a couple of drinks on stream the other day, but I'm not really drinking these days either. So yeah, I'm not I'm not spending a bunch of money on booze right now. So yeah, it's literally just going to fucking mutual aid and then food for marching power. And the last 3 days I've been living off of fucking bologna and cheese sandwiches with some spinach when I'm lucky. And I'm gonna be real, I'm getting pretty tired of bologna and cheese sandwiches. So, there's a taco truck down the street. I'm probably gonna grab a couple tacos after this because I'm fucking hungry. We're at about an hour and 5 minutes. Last chance if you folks have any questions or anything to add to this conversation. Fuck yeah, great. Now's your chance. Again, if you want to join the Discord server or if you have something to say after the stream ends, there is a comment section. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell notifications if you want to see more of this shit. I can't wait to see how many subscribers I lost doing this stream today. That'll be fucking funny as hell. Because, you know, it's like all these people who are like, oh, unlike you snowflakes, I'm not so easily triggered. And then I actually use my freedom of speech to express my opinions, and then they're all like, unfollowed, you heathen. Yeah, so, you know, all that's left are the fucking reprobates. Let's drain the fucking swamp here, guys. We're draining the swamp. You know what? I'm on a fucking crusade to drain the swamp here on my channel. I'm gonna trigger all you little fucking cucks, and you're gonna unfollow me all day long, and I'm not gonna give a flying shit about it. 50 plus likes, as Special Ed says. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Thumbs up. Spank that fucking like button. Spank it like I spank my hams every night to thoughts of snowflakes being triggered by my political opinions. You fucking reprobates. Hell yeah. Yeah. Get it. You know I'm gonna spank my hams tonight to thoughts about triggered fucking cups on my channel. That sounds so crass, and you know what? It is. It's very crass. It's disgusting, and I'm a fucking piece of shit for it. That's right. But yeah, like I said earlier, I want you all to take care of yourselves, because in a world that is trying to destroy you, the greatest act of resistance that you as an individual can do is to keep yourself afloat, is to do work on yourself and make sure that you, at the end of the day, are okay and you're doing fine. You know, self-care is a radical act. Don't fucking forget it, okay? So, I'm gonna fuck off now. On that note, take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll probably be back, if not tomorrow, then sometime in the next couple days for another rant. So stay tuned. I do like this morning slot, so maybe I'll keep doing the morning slots. I don't know. All right, peace out. See you later. Bye.